Hi everyone, welcome to Invent Your Mind. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Gayani, and if you have checked out my videos before, you know I'm an attorney. I do intellectual property and business law. That means I help clients with trademarks, copyright, patents, setting up businesses, mostly in California. Trademarks, those I can do, help anybody who want to file in United States. And this channel is for startups, creatives, and businesses and professionals, bringing forth tools that could be useful and also interviews with people that are interesting and could share some good information. And with that, I would love to introduce Peyton here. She's an intuitive. She has a company called Peyton Energetics. And what's really cool about her background is she used to be a litigator, attorney, and then she kind of went through this whole process of awakening and now have this, meditation type of practice and intuitive healing, all these tools that she's sharing with her clients. So I thought she is a great person to have today. We are in April right now, and with the COVID-19 going around and shelter in place in California. So, there's a lot going on, a lot of energy. So Peyton is all about energy and getting your energy kind of grounded and in a space that, that work for you and everybody. So Peyton, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And I was just going to say, by the way, bear with us if we have some video issues, technology. I think our internet connections are sometimes going in and out because a lot of people are on the internet with streaming and everything. So hopefully this will go smoothly. So, and with that, Peyton, would you like to kind of talk to us about what your background a little bit and how you went from being an attorney, litigator to what you're doing now?
Sure, it's a little bit of a career 180. um, as you mentioned, Gayani, I started as an attorney and handled environmental crimes litigation for a number of years. And as anyone in certainly the legal profession can probably relate, it can be a demanding profession, long hours, lots of stress, especially if you're in any sort of litigation or courtroom capacity, which I certainly was. And I actually found my way into my transition looking for ways as a professional to reduce work stress. The toll of working long hours tends to add up. It gets a little cumulative. And so it's very important to have practices to help us relax, rebalance, center ourselves for just our mental and physical well-being. And so it was that quest to find a way to de-stress that led me to my current field, which is energy work, which is very much centered on balancing your life, living from your heart and your authenticity, and living just in alignment with yourself and your values.
I love that. And you're so right, because I think a lot of us have, legal field itself is a conflict-driven field that there's always especially if you're in litigation, you are in a fighting kind of setting where you had to represent your client's best interests and you have opposing counsel, or like in your case, you're prosecuting, companies, so whoever that are environmental polluters. And so I think if we don't take care of ourselves, we're going to burn out. And I think we could actually better perform in any of our professions if we are better taking care of ourselves better. And I could completely relate to feeling overwhelmed and feeling really stressed. And I think launching my own practice have changed that a bit, because I took control of my schedule. And now I feel I'm more in control of what I do, how I do things. But yeah, I don't go to court. I am a transactional attorney, meaning I work with businesses and in like creating things and filing things like trademarks, but I don't thankfully have to go to code. So anyways, with that, Peyton, so talk about what does it mean to be an intuitive for those who may not understand. And I think there's some, so they get a better understanding what that is.
Sure, of course. It's certainly an area that a lot of people are unfamiliar with, or they have a bit of an idea, but they can't really put it into a practical framework. And what intuitive work is all about, along with energy work, I'll tend to use those two words interchangeably. Those are methodologies or modalities that teach us to connect with our inner wisdom. They teach us to balance and center ourselves so that we have access to all the inner wisdom that we all hold inside of ourselves, which it's like a GPS system that we all inherently have. But in our busy corporate or day-to-day business practices, we don't take time to tap into that source of balance, calm, inner wisdom. And so energy work teaches you to calm down, and it helps you get out of your monkey mind where so many professionals live, really, and into a sense of stillness within you so that you can tap into your values, your inner wisdom, your inner knowing, and just live a happier, more balanced life.
Thank you. That's beautiful. I think the other question I have for you is with that feel for somebody who have never went to an intuitive or healer, what and it could vary depending on there's so many different type of practices. Who want to kind of start on this journey or kind of curious about it. What is the best way to kind of get a preview into it without kind of figure things out? Like, do you connect with like your potential clients? Do you connect with them through calls? So at this point, because we can do one-on-one, so what's the best way to connect basically?
Well, there's I think two options. Energy work to start off with, because I think the first part of your question was how can people get started, get a
Yeah.
taste for this work and see if it's for them. And one of the best ways to get started in the way that I got started was to have some sort of personal meditation or ritual practice of your own, whether you consider it your alone time, your me time, quiet time, or have an official ritual, more like the meditation that we're going to be talking more about, is a great way to start that process of reconnecting with yourself. And once you do that, you start to get clear on what you want in life and the path to get there, which is really what most of us are trying to figure out at the end of the day. What is going to make us feel happy and satisfied and fulfilled? So starting with some sort of self-care practice or ritual, and meditation like we're going to be doing today is a great gateway to that. But you can do energy work or intuitive work from anywhere. I work with most of my clients now through online chat, video chat, because you don't have to actually be physically with someone to do energy work and intuitive practice, because we're tapping into a broader knowingness, a sense of higher consciousness that we're all connected to. So you can do it really from anywhere. And we're having to do that now.
Exactly. I mean, I think it's funny thing about this whole COVID-19 is kind of gotten everybody into remote working, remote connections, and energy work. People were doing that way before that. So it's very interesting. And of course, we are talking about sometimes not even having a Zoom call, but just energetically being present and doing work too. Sometime you could tell somebody
Yeah,
that, yeah.
it's very flexible and you make it your own. We can certainly do work one-on-one with people. And before the COVID situation, we did a lot of, hands-on working together face to face. But it's very adaptable, which is helpful. when you're in an unpredictable landscape that we are all finding ourselves in these days.
Especially if you're worried and you do want to maintain physical distance, which is, I think, even after some of the places lessen these rules, we probably would want to keep up until we get the vaccine or something in place that makes sure that we have some help. So with that, I will ask Peyton. I was going to share some tips to manage your stress and anxieties right now, and then we will lead into the meditation that she mentioned at the end. So stay tuned for all of that, because whole thing is to kind of give you a preview and tips, and then the meditation. So it's your flow.
Well, I think one of the main tips that anyone can start with just to start reconnecting with a sense of peace and balance. And as a collective right now, everyone is in such a deep state of fear and anxiety and not knowing what's next, what the landscape is when we come out of this, how different things are going to be. And so one of the first things that I recommend to my clients is just taking 5 minutes a day in stillness, to just sit and just be in your body and honor whatever you're feeling, because so many of the feelings and emotions that everyone is experiencing right now just need to be honored, and then we can move through them in a more harmonious way and release them. So I would say one of the best ways to get started is just to take a little bit of time, even a few moments every day, to just sit, be quiet, be in gratitude, and just going within and just asking your intuition, what do I need to know right now, can lead to incredible insights and guidance on how you can move through this situation in the most beneficial way possible.
Do you suggest with those kind of a taking a 5 minutes routine, is it better to set a routine? Or I always find it's helpful to like have a routine, but what's your suggestion? Like in the morning or in the evening, or do you have any thoughts on it?
I think whatever is going to make it easiest for you to follow through. Some people love to schedule and have things in their calendar. That gives them a sense of security and ritual. Whereas me, that makes me feel constrained. If I have to do something at 7:30 every day, that's not freedom for me. So whatever is most comfortable for you, whatever lets you get that time in,
Yeah.
because it's getting the time in, not when you do it, that is the game changer.
That's so funny that you said, yeah, for me, it's the opposite. I feel like if I put it on the schedule, it's off my list almost. And it's liberating, because then I know that I have it when I'm going to get to it. When I don't have it, I'm like, oh, I need to still get to that. Like, I had to put that somewhere in my schedule. So I think it's definitely shows the differences in how you feel, and you have to go trust what works for you. Okay, next tip.
And you mentioned a great point. You said that when you put something in your calendar, it gives you a feeling of freedom.
Yeah.
That's the energetic freedom feeling that we're reaching for. That's the success point. When you're doing what works for you, it's when we're in an energy of forcing ourselves to do something and it starts to feel like a chore, that energetically we're not getting as much benefit from that situation as we could if we felt we were giving something to ourselves and feeling free, feeling empowered. So it makes a big difference.
Thank you. Thank you. That's really good point. This is why I love having these discussions. It's bring it to clarity. It crystallizes, certain thought processes and things that you sometimes think or do that, just kind of clicks in.
Yeah.
So, okay, I next tip.
Well, I think the next tip is that given that we're in such stressful and unpredictable times, just as a whole global population, learning to listen to and honor our inner voice is more important than ever, because we don't have that clear-cut path that we're following anymore, really. And
Mhm.
we have to figure out a new toolkit for moving forward. And part of that is learning to trust our own internal guidance. Because what's right for one person, like we just talked about with the meditation ritual, is going to be very wrong for someone else. And so learning to honor what's right for you is one of the big things that we focus on in intuitive practice and energy work. It's honoring the guidance that you're getting from your intuition, and even your body will give you feedback as to what's good for you and what's right for you in this situation. So any form of self-care right now is going to be tremendously beneficial.
I I think, you know, I think for me, I find it that, you know, paying attention is always, you know, there are some times when we were able to, when we were doing a lot of networking events and such, I will check in into I will check in within myself to see if I feel up to going some event. And sometimes when I don't feel it, I will actually cancel because I have went to some events where I didn't feel right about it, and I will show up and it just wasn't a good match. So I think it's that, you know, paying attention to that inner knowing that you're talking about, what's feel right for you, that works for so many different things.
Yeah.
Even when to have a discussion with somebody, if you feel like there is a, you know, something that doesn't quite sit right, you may want to take a look at what that feeling is.
Mhm.
And that's what Peyton does, help you figure that out, how to know those feelings. So okay,
Yeah,
next. Oh,
yeah, learning to, and that was the perfect segue. The next advice is to honor your inner knowing. We know so much more than we give ourselves credit for knowing.
mm-hmm,
And it can be so tempting because we are trained in our conventional career system and education system to listen to outside sources of
mm-hmm,
advice, which can make us discount what our inner wisdom is telling us. And when something feels wrong to us, one of the first rules of energy practice is it is wrong for you. If something feels wrong, you're getting feedback from your intuition, your body, you're getting visceral personal guidance. But it can be very easy for us to talk ourselves out of that, to say someone else knows better or what's best for us. And so that is one of the key components to learning to trust your intuition, is to honor what you actually know. And the more you ask yourself and your intuition, is this right for me? What do I need to know here? The more guidance will start to come through. And you'll start to see actual proof of why you were getting the messages and information that you were getting. There's usually a reason for it.
yeah, I think when you're paying attention, you could actually be your own investigator
Mm-hmm.
and collect data. That's almost, you know, my scientific side. It's like you could just, you know, start watching those feelings and see what happens when you still go forward versus when you change something, and how that works, you know. I think it's very interesting because this inner guidance that you're talking about, it's not like what we are used to. It's not like verbal. It's more of a feeling, and it's sometimes a sensation. No, it could be different things for anybody. So it's, you have to figure out what's the system for you.
Absolutely. It's very personal. And people receive that inner knowing and wisdom in very different ways.
Hmm.
I know you've talked about getting guidance in the form of sensations, like on the top of your head.
Hmm.
And other people might get that feedback in their gut
Yes.
or in their heart. And so part of the personal nature of this practice is learning to recognize how the information comes through for you. because it might look totally different than the person sitting right next to you. And so getting
Exactly.
back into your body is very helpful because it'll give you a roadmap if you listen to it.
Exactly. I think, yeah, I always talk about how I get goosebumps and my crown chakra kind of get tingly. So, but there are times I would just know something without that too. But sometimes I need that, extra little uh, sensation that reminds me, oh yeah, this is a intuitive hit or download, as I would call it.
Yeah.
So,
And that's another reason why having a stillness practice of some type is so beneficial. Because when you're taking time each day, even a few minutes to just sit in silence or in a meditation, those inner nudges get louder. The more we're busy and we're in the monkey mind, our mind will talk right over our intuition. And it can be very easy to miss the guidance. So those bodily sensations can be very helpful in telling us to pay attention, essentially.
thank you. And what is so with your what you do you find that a lot of people, because when they, especially if you're somebody who's been in a high trust situation, do you think they still have these feelings come through, or are they kind of in a clutter mix that until you kind of start doing these meditation kind of stuff, you're not going to hear that kind of signal? If you have any thoughts as to that.
I think that's probably very dependent on the individual and maybe how much of a stressful situation they're coming from. I
Mm-hmm.
know when I left my law practice after several years of being in an intense trial mode, it took me about a year to just for my stress response to settle down enough that I could start picking up the intuitive hits because I was still in such, you mentioned law being a bit of a conflict arena or it is a battleground of sorts in the modern day. And you get used to being in that energy. And it can take time just for your body and mind to settle down after something like that so that you can hear these very subtle, because our intuition is a subtle whisper. It's not going to shout loudly the way your brain does. And so it can take time for people who are coming out of demanding careers or stressful personal situations or even stressful health challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that keeps us in a state of intense energy can make it more difficult to hear that soft inner voice. So it can take a minute depending on what someone is going through.
Um, so I think that's, it's absolutely true. I think, and then there are some tools sometimes. That's why working with the intuitive, like Peyton, really could be helpful, because I have done some courses and have done some workshop with some teachers who have really helped me kind of figure out those tools too, what works for me. And I think, you know, it is really is a journey of like Easter egg hunt to say to figure out what is for you. So um,
It is, and there are such an amazing toolkits available to us in the intuitive and energy arenas that can help people get so much just personal clarity on where they're going with their life and how they can feel better and how they can feel more peaceful and relaxed, just so they can deal with the stresses of their life in a healthier and more balanced way. But most of us have not ever been taught these tools, and they're really so simple and have such transformative power
mhm.
that I recommend it so highly to anyone who isn't familiar with it but would like a way to just live easier and live in less overwhelm and burnout, because we don't have to live that way. We've been conditioned to live that way, and to think that that's normal, that the harder we work, is the key to success, really. And there are great tools that can help us still achieve the same success in a much more balanced and aligned way. And so it's really an amazing field for people to check out if they know they need a little more balance in their life.
And I think that's the key also. I think you would want, if you're getting called to this and you're watching this, Estelle, you might be somebody who will benefit from taking a little bit deeper look, because I do think there's a calling you had to adhere to, and you would want it. It's not something that you, if you're not interested, you're going to get something out of, because it is a lot of work, walking through the unknown. So, and you could do it at your own space, but you do have to kind of invest your time and energy into that. And it's like the best thing that could ever happen to you, though, because it does bring a lot of peace. And especially in a time like this, it's bring a lot of tools that could help you with your trust level and trust in the whole journey, instead of, and we all go through these phases. Right before we started the recording, we were chatting a little bit about how, I myself have been going through some of the changes, the feelings, and I do consider myself an empath, so I do feel the energy of the collective. So I think that's, like you mentioned, at this time, there's a lot of fear in the collective, and you constantly had to kind of not just work on yourself, but also, if you're empath or empath is somebody who feels other people's feelings, that you had to make sure that you're not taking in that energy, and I know that you talk about being an armored empath. As one of the, it's sometimes when we talk about it. So anyways, moving on to the next step.
And I think that you just mentioned a really important point, Yanni, and that's that it's so important to go in the direction you're called. If you're forcing yourself to do something because so and so told you to, or somebody said you had to read a book, if we're acting in a state of resistance, where we're forcing ourselves to do something, it's not really benefiting us all that much. And so it's really important to listen to those intuitive nudges, which might be just feeling an interest in something, or the desire to just Google something that you've heard. Those are the little breadcrumbs that our intuition guides us to what's next in our life. And so finding that next step and acting on it can really bring powerful change.
I absolutely agree. I think sometimes when I'm dealing with something, I will put it out to the universe, as I will call it. I will put out a question, and I will be open to receiving the answer. And sometimes the answer comes in a form of I come across a YouTube video that, like, somebody's discussing exactly what I was curious about or what I was thinking. Or sometimes it's a friend send me a message and say, hey, you should check this out, and it's the answer. So it's really, it's fun. It could be a fun process once you're like, okay to, you say to the whoever your angels, guides, or whatever you believe God, that you're open.
Yeah, we like to say in energy work that when you ask the question, the universe always answers. And then it's our job to notice the answer. Because it will be oftentimes something small, like a friend mentioning a book, or stumble across an interview or a podcast, is how the universe answers those questions. So it's up to us then to be alert to what we're looking for so that we don't miss it.
Exactly. And I heard from another, when when I'm still doing a lot of these work. So when I first started doing this work, that somebody said, write those things down so you could see. And I think that's really cool thing to do, because you could track how well that get answered. And then you have something more than just thinking, oh, it happens a lot, you know, if you're data driven or if you're one of those people who need that structure.
It's really important, and it's a great way to build trust in the process too, to keep
Mhm.
track of your wins, to keep track of when your intuition was right on, when it steered you in a different direction and you listened and it worked out for you. Because this is a muscle that most of us haven't used for a while. And it can take some time to build that muscle back up. And the more we build it, the easier the answers come, the more directly the answers come. And the more we can put our trust that no matter how uncertain things are in the world around us, we have a guidance system that we can rely on. And we need that so much right now because a lot of what we've relied on is not so reliable.
Yeah, there's a lot of unknown right now, truly unknown territory. So, okay, so I think we covered about 4 tips so far. I'm just,
I think we probably covered the most important ones because I would have gone into meditation, which is what
it's the
we're
fifth tip.
doing right now.
Yes. So for the meditation part, the next part I will do is I'm going to screen share the image of Peyton's energetic logo. And, you know, we will come back on after the meditation. She's going to do a guided meditation and go from there. And thank you for joining us. And you know, get a little bit comfortable because she's amazing at these guided meditations. So I actually asked her to do this for us because it's a really cool experience. So I'm gonna start this part, quickly share the screen and make it big. Okay.
Okay. So today what we're going to be doing is a short meditation to help you connect with the energy of peace and the energy of calm. We've been talking a little today about the incredibly stressful times that we're going through as a global community right now. And the ability to find pockets of peace in our day is more important than ever. So let's get started. Take a nice deep breath. Close your eyes and settle into your chair. Check to make sure that your feet are flat on the floor and uncross your arms and your legs so that the energy can flow more evenly through your body. Take a moment to just breathe and feel what it's like to be in your body right now. For so many of us, when things get stressful, we tend to pop out of our body to avoid feeling the uncomfortable emotions. So come back into your body and just be present with whatever you're feeling. Take another nice deep breath and calm your entire body. Take another nice deep breath and settle your mind. Take a third breath and drop into your heart space, placing your attention in the middle of your chest, right over your heart. In this meditation, you're going to be working with the highest vibration of all, the frequency of pure love. Using your imagination, picture a beam of golden white light flowing down toward you from the farthest reaches of the universe. That beam of light is traveling down through the atmosphere, through the roof of your house, and entering the top of your head. As this beam of light enters the crown of your head, it starts to fill you with the vibration of love and peace and well-being. As it moves slowly down your body, it fills every cell, every atom, every subatomic particle with the vibration of ease and relaxation and relief. It fills your chest, your back, and your internal organs with a healing and soothing sensation. And as it moves, it starts to melt any lower vibrational energies that are stored in your body. It dissolves any energy of fear, worry, uncertainty, or struggle that you are holding in your body or your energy field. And you start to notice a deep feeling of calm and peace and well-being filling you from the inside out. And as this light travels down into your abdomen and lower back and legs, it starts to fill you with the absolute knowingness that everything is going to be okay. It fills you with the certainty that you are safe and protected and guided and cared for by every level of the universe. And as this beautiful golden light flows down your legs and out the soles of your feet, it carries with it any stress, fear, worries, or concerns that were stored in your body and leaves you filled with a deep sense of peace and calm. And as you sit in your chair, the beautiful golden light continues to fill your body and your aura until you are overflowing with radiant light, spilling out of every pore of your body. And you know that you can return to this state of total well-being whenever you desire. And any time that you start to feel overwhelmed by the pressure of anything in your life. And as this golden light spills out of your pores, you notice that beams of light are starting to shoot out of the palms of your hands, like laser beams of pure love. And we're going to take a moment and send this healing energy to all of humanity to support the planet and anyone who is suffering and needing help at this time. In your mind's eye, picture a miniature version of the earth floating right in front of you, like a tiny globe the size of an orange. You're going to use your imagination and your intention to send beams of light from the palms of your hands into the planet. As you beam the energy of love into the planet, you are sending a powerful healing energy to the entire world and all of humanity in a very real and powerful way. In energy work, we say that love heals everything, because it is such a clear, high, and powerful frequency. So take a moment and send love and healing to all of planet Earth and to anyone who is suffering as a result of the pandemic, and to the healers and healthcare professionals who are on the front lines fighting the illness, and to the grocery store workers, the cleaning staff, and the ordinary people who are keeping the rest of us fed, clean, and cared for during the crisis. And send love to anyone else who needs it right now, to anyone who is scared or sick or needs support of any kind. This technique of consciously directing the frequency of love is one of the most powerful tools for healing any stressful situation. It is the power of directing healing energy to anyone who needs it, including yourself. So as we conclude our meditation, place your hands over your heart and send love and forgiveness to yourself. Take a nice deep breath, and as you exhale, say to yourself, I am safe. Take another nice deep breath and say, I am protected. And with your final breath, all is well. And whenever you are ready, you can start to wiggle your fingers and then your toes. And whenever you feel ready, feel free to open your eyes. Welcome back, everyone.
Hi, Peyton. It took me a second to come down, come up.
It always does, and I never want to rush people coming back from a meditation.
That's just beautiful. I think it's the perfect. We actually taping this on a new moon in Taurus today, and it's Earth's Day. So I think it's the perfect meditation for today. And I will see, maybe I will try to get this uploaded today, just because that I think it's the perfect meditation for today. And whenever you listen to this, it's going to be perfect for you. But, you know, today is a special day. So
It is, and it's something you can use as often as you need. And whenever you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, just bringing in beautiful cleansing light and love can be incredibly healing, because we don't often take time to heal ourselves.
I want to thank ourselves.
Or to thank ourselves, exactly.
Thank you. With that, I will end this recording for today. Peyton, thank you so much for joining us and sharing that beautiful meditation with us. For those who joined and stayed, thank you so much. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, and let me know what your thoughts are, and see you next time. Bye.